Hello everyone, welcome to this video by Intellipaat. In this video, we will take a look at what are AWS Step Functions. AWS Step Function is a serverless service designed to simplify the creation and management of application workflow in cloud. Step Functions handle input, output, error management, and retries at each step. Now let's take a look at our agenda for the day. We will start off with what are AWS Step Functions. Once done with that, we will see what are state machines, and then we will understand the state machine diagram. Next, we will see some of the benefits of AWS Step Functions. Lastly, we sum up our video with a few use cases and applications of AWS Step Functions. But before we begin, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for regular updates from us.
Now let's start with the first topic. What are AWS Step Functions? AWS Step Function is a serverless orchestration service that facilitates creation and management of complex, multi-step workflow in a cloud application. AWS Step Function is an invaluable Amazon Web Service designed to simplify coordination of various AWS resources for accomplishing tasks effectively. It empowers the users to construct the workflow with multiple steps, where the output of one step seamlessly feeds into the input of another, all through an intuitive visual workflow editor. Step functions offer a rich set of features that streamline the workflow management. It effortlessly handles automatic retry mechanism, enabling easy triggering and monitoring of each workflow step, and guarantees precise execution sequences. These capabilities are particularly crucial when dealing with complex workflow containing numerous steps and parallel execution. Consider you have a bunch of tasks that needs to be done on internet, like sending email, processing data, and more. These tasks often depends on each other. One need to finish before the next step starts. Now think of AWS Step Function as a task manager. Instead of keeping an eye on each task and making sure they happen in the right order, Step Function plays an important role. Step Functions not only help your organization with these tasks but also handles problem if something goes wrong. It's like backup plan in case things don't go as expected. So AWS Step Function make it easier to get things done on internet by keeping your task organized and making sure they happen in the right sequence. Let's consider an AWS function scenario. Consider Zion runs an online store and he wants to streamline his order fulfillment process using AWS Step Function. A customer places an order on an e-commerce website, selecting the items and providing the shipping details. So the first step is payment process. AWS Step Function kicks in as soon as the order is placed. The first step in the state management is the payment process. The step function communicates with your payment gateway to process the customer payment. If the payment is successful, it moves to the next step. The second step is inventory management. Once the payment is confirmed, the state management transition to inventory management. The communication with your inventory system to check the product availability, update stock level, and reserves the item for the order. The third step is packing and shipping. After securing the inventories, the state management moves to the packing and shipping step. It generates a packing list assigned to the shipping courier and triggers the shipping process. If any issue arises, such as item being out of stock, step functions handling these errors by notifying the customers and initiating a corrective action. The next step is order confirmation. Once the order is successfully packed and shipped, the state machine proceeds to the order confirmation step. It sends an order confirmation email to the customer with the shipment details and tracking information. Step 5. Review and feedback. To ensure customer satisfaction, the state machine includes the review and feedback step. A few days after the delivery, it sends an email to the customer asking for feedback and review. If the customer responds, the feedback can be used to improve their service. The last step is order completion. Finally, the state machine transition to the order completion step. It marks the order is complete, updates the order status, and logs all the relevant information. In this scenario, AWS Step Function acts as an intelligent orchestrator, ensuring that each step is fulfilled properly. If any problem arises, like payment issue or inventory shortage, Step Function handles them gracefully, keeping the customers informed that your e-commerce operation is running smoothly. It also provides a clear and visual representation of the workflow, making it easier to manage and optimize over time. So the next topic is, what are state machines? State machines in AWS Step Function is like a flowchart for a computer program. This flowchart guides the computer through a series of steps. Each step in the workflow represents a task that a computer needs to do, such as sending an email, processing data, or making decision based on certain condition. These steps are called as states. The flowchart also shows the order in which the task should be done and how the computer should react if something goes wrong, like handling errors gracefully. State machines direct each task and ensure that all the work is done properly. AWS Step Function takes a concept and applies it to the cloud computing. It helps the developers automate complex workflow by breaking them down into smaller, manageable steps, making it easier to build and run application that relies on multiple services and tasks. In AWS Step Function, we have something called a state machine diagram. So the state machine diagram is a visual representation illustrating the workflow of the task and services within a serverless application. It shows that the state, transitions, and the error handling, making it easier to design complex workflow in an AWS cloud environment. So the next topic is understanding the state machine diagram. In an AWS Step Function, a state machine diagram is a visual representation of the workflow of tasks within a serverless application. It provides a clear and a graphical overview of how different AWS servers and tasks interact. So let's take a look at the working. The first one, we have a state. Each state in a diagram represents a specific action or task that needs to be executed as a part of an application workflow. For example, a state could be a Lambda function, a AWS service, or even a decision point. Then we have transition. Arrows connected to the state indicates the flow of control from one state to another. These transitions define the order in which the state is executed. Depending on the outcome of the state, the machine decides which state to go next. Transition can be based on success, failure, or other conditions. Next, we have error handling. State machine diagrams also illustrates how errors or exceptions can be handled within a workflow. You can specify what should happen if a state encounters error, whether it should retry, go to a specific error handling state, or terminate the workflow. Next, we have the choice states. Decision points known as choice state allows the state machine to branch to different states based on the condition. For instances, you can use choice state to make decision depending on the content of input data. Then we have the start and the end state. A state machine diagram typically begins with a start state and ends with one or more end states. The start state initiates the execution and the end state signifies the successful completion of the workflow. Lastly, we have the input and output data. The diagram may also indicate how data flow in and out of the state, allowing for data manipulation and passing information between the states. The state machine diagram in AWS Step Function serves as a visual blueprint for designing, understanding, and managing the flow of tasks and services in a serverless application. It simplifies the process of building complex workflow by providing a clear visualization of the entire process. So let's consider an example. Consider an e-commerce application that uses AWS Step Function to manage the order process workflow. Here's the state diagram. Start state is the initial state where the order processing begins. It signifies the start of the workflow. Payment process state represents the task of the processing customer payment. It might involve making payment gateways, API call. If the payment is successful, the workflow transitions to the fulfill order state. In fulfill order state, the system fulfills the customer order, which could include picking items from the inventory and preparing them for shipment. Once the order is successfully fulfilled, the workflow proceeds to the send confirmation state. Send confirmation state is responsible for sending an order confirmation to the customer, notifying them that their order has been successfully processed. However, not all the scenarios are perfect. Errors can happen. Payment failure transition. If during the payment process fails, the workflow transitions to the notify customer instead of fulfilling order. This state is designed to notify customer about the payment failure, allowing them to take appropriate action. In this example, the state machine diagram demonstrates the workflow of the order processing workflow. It starts with processing payment, moving to order fulfillment, and ends with sending a confirmation to the customer. Additionally, if handling the scenario where payment process fails, ensure that the customers are promptly informed of any issues. This visual representation helps to develop and operate understanding and management of workflow, making it easier to design and maintain complex business processes in a serverless environment using AWS Step Function. Moving on, let's see some of the benefits of AWS Step Functions. First one is easy workflow control. Step functions help you organize and control tasks in your application. Think of it as a conductor guiding an orchestra, making sure every task plays at the right time. Then we have automatic problem solving. If something goes wrong in an application, step function can automatically retry or handle the issue gracefully. It's like having a built-in problem solver. Then we have track what happened. It keeps a record of everything your application does. Imagine having a diary of each step your app took, making it easier to understand and fixing the mistakes. Next one we have works with other Amazon tools. Step function can work together with various Amazon services, making it easier to build complex applications. It's like having lots of useful tools in one toolbox. It saves money. It's cost effective. You only pay for what you use, and by using step functions wisely, you can keep your cost under control while building effective workflow. Think of it as being budget friendly for your projects. Moving on, let's see some of the use cases and applications of AWS Step Functions. Order processing. In an e-commerce application, order processing involves multiple steps such as verifying payment, managing inventories, and notifying customer. AWS Step Functions can coordinate these tasks effectively. For example, it can initiate payment process, wait for payment confirmation, and then trigger inventory management and order confirmation task in a sequential and automated manner. If an issue rises, like a payment failure, step function can handle it by notifying the customer or retrying the payment. The next one we have is data processing pipelines. Large-scale data processing often requires a series of steps, such as data cleansing, transformation, and storage. AWS Step Functions can construct and manage data processing pipelines. For instances, it can start with data ingestion, followed by data validation, data transformation, and finally data storage. Any error or exception can be handled, ensuring that data processing is reliable and accurate. The next one is image and video processing. Application dealing with image and video processing can benefit from step functions. For example, consider a photo sharing app that receives user uploaded images. Step functions can oversee the entire image, processing pipelines from resizing and applying filters to generate thumbnail. It ensures that each step is executed in a correct sequence, producing the desired output with minimal manual intervention. Then we have scheduled task and batch processing. Many applications require tasks to be executed at specific time or on recurring schedule. Step function can act as a scheduler or coordinator. For instances, it can automate the generation of daily reports in business application. At the scheduled time, step function can trigger the report generation process, wait for completion, and then deliver the report to intended recipient. This reduces the manual effort and ensures timely execution. AWS Step Functions streamline complex workflow by breaking them down into manageable steps, orchestrating the execution, handling errors, and ensuring task happens in the right order at the right time. This simplifies application development and maintenance while enhancing reliability and efficiency. It's like having a reliable project manager that oversees all the tasks in your application, making sure everything runs smoothly and according to plan. Hope the video gave you a good understanding about AWS Step Function. Hope to see you again. If you like the video, please like and subscribe to Intellipaat YouTube channel for more updates like this. Thank you. Happy learning Intellipaat.
Just a quick info guys, Intellipaat offers an AWS certification course for solutions architect certified by NESCOM, and it aligns with industry standards. Through this course, you can learn all the important concepts of AWS, and upon completion of the course, you will receive a NESCOM certification. With this course, we have already helped thousands of professionals in successful career transition. You can check out their testimonials on our Achievers channel, whose link is given in the description below. Without a doubt, this course can set your career to new heights. So visit the course page link given below in the description and take a first step towards career growth in the field of AWS.